A very good afternoon to all the Python programmers. Today in this video we are learning the range function in Python. Basically the range function in Python is having many applications. It is used in loops, that is we are going to use it in for loop further. So before learning the syntax of for loop we should be aware about range function in Python. So what basically is range function? Let me tell you. Here we are discussing the range function that is used to generate a sequence of integers starting from 0. It is used to generate the sequence of integers, and it increments that particular range of values by 1. Means by default the range function starting value is 0. If we are not giving any start value, so it will start from 0 and increment the values by 1. Like if I am not giving any increment value, so it will increment by 1 by default. And let me tell you what is the syntax of the range function in Python. The syntax of the range function takes 3 parameters. Here we have start, stop and size. Start means starting value, from where to start where we have to start generating the sequence of integers. Stop means its stop value, and size is the step size that we want to give the increments. And there is one fact about range function: if we don't give the start value, then by default it will start from 0. But the stop value is mandatory. It is mandatory to give the stop value in range function. And size, if you don't give the size, if you don't specify the size in range function, it will increment by 1 by default. So if here in the next we are discussing what are the rules of the range function. All arguments in the range function must be integers, my dear friends. It can be positive or it can be negative, but it can't be string, it can't be float. You can give the start value, stop value and size. Suppose you can say range is j. So it is understood by default that this j is stop limit. It is not start limit, it is not size, because I told you that stop limit is mandatory. We have to specify the stop range of that particular sequence of integers. And if we specify j, then it will end up to j minus 1, because it is by default it is starting from 0. So 0, 1, 2 up to so on j minus 1. We have not specified in this any start value, so it will start from 0 by default, but we have not given any step size. So what it will do, it will increment by 1. 0 plus 1 is 1, 1 plus 1 is 2, and the end limit will always be 1 less. It will always be less than the stop limit, 1 less than the stop limit. Like if it is j, it will be j minus 1. If the end limit is 10, it will be 9. If the end limit is 8, it will be 7. Like range 10. So it means it is understood that 10 is the stop limit here. So 0, 1, 2 up to so on 9, because I have not given the start limit, so it will start from 0. I have not given the size, so it will increment by 1 by default. And you know, if the range is 10, it will go up to 9 only, 1 less than the stop limit. Next, I comma j. Now if two values are specified, it means one is the start limit and another one is the stop limit, and by default the step size will be 1. Like start is I, then step size is 1, I plus 1, again step size is 1, I plus 2 up to so on, stop size is j, stop limit is j, so it will end up to j minus 1. Next is, for example, range 1 to 10. Start limit is 1, stop limit is 10. So what will it do? 1, 2, 3, 4 up to so on 10 minus 1. 10 minus 1 is 9. Next we have all the 3 arguments here, I, j, k. It means I is the start, j is the stop, and k is the step size. I plus k, I plus 2k, k is the increment step size we have specified, up to j minus 1 because stop limit is j and it will go up to 1 less than the stop limit. It is not like you are giving the step size and it will still take 1 increment. No, if you are giving the step size, it will take only that step size that is given in that range function. Today the step size, now in this example the step size is k. Downside you can see 1, 10, 2. It means start limit is 1, give the increment of 2 and move up to 9 because stop limit is 10. So 1 less than 10 is 9. So 1 plus 2 is 3, 3 plus 2 is 5, 5 plus 2 is 7 and 7 plus 2 is 9. Next range I, j, k. Here also you can see the same syntax is working, but in example we can see the negative integer. It can also be the argument of the range function like 10, 0, minus 1. Now the start value is 10, not the 1. Stop is 0 and step size is minus 1. So it is, what it is doing, it will print the series in the reverse order. 10, then minus 1 9, 9 minus 1 8, 8 minus 1 7, then 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. As you know, one value less than the stop limit. So it's about the conceptual understanding of the range function. Let's understand the range function in programming. How are we going to implement the range function in programming? Let me clarify. Suppose you can see we have range, we say list, we say range 10, a equal to range 10, then print a, then range 34, means its start value is 0 and the end value is 10. Here range 34 means by default the start value is 0 and the end value is 34. So if we say here list range 1 comma 10, so here you can see list range 1 comma 10 means it is starting from 1 and ending up to 9, 1 less than the stop limit. 1 is the start limit, 10 is the end value, but range function, you know, it will move up to 1 value less than the stop limit. Like if I say list range, I want a list of numbers, that's why I am prefixing it with list. Keep in mind, here I want the list, as a basic syntax of list is, it is enclosed in square brackets. Later on in the further videos we will discuss about list also. So here if we give list 10, then it will start from 0 by default because I have given no start value, no step size. So by default it will start from 0 and it will end up to 9. And if I say list range 10 up to 1 and step size is minus 1, then what it is going to do, you can see 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. It will not take 1. 10 is the start value, 1 is the stop, and then minus 1 is the step size that we have given. or if we say list range 1 comma 21, so it will print all the numbers starting from 1 to 20. It will print all the numbers starting from 1 to 20 because 1 less than the stop limit. This is all about range function. How do we implement range function in programming? It's quite important to understand range function if we have to work further on loops. So it is important to understand the range function. That is why I have just first clarified you about the range function. In the next video, we will be learning the basic syntax of the for loop. Thank you, friends.